Hi, welcome to my series, 1,001 Movies You Must See Before You Die. On the front you have Blade Runner 2049, on the back you have Get Out. And I'm excited to start this series, and I'm going to be starting it with my favorite film of all time, Taxi Driver, directed by Martin Scorsese, starring Robert De Niro, with a supporting cast of Jodie Foster, Sybil Shepherd, Albert Brooks, and Harvey Keitel. So this movie is about a chronic insomniac who starts to drive a taxi at night and who really wants to clean up the streets. And he kind of is someone that talks about how dirty New York is and how somebody should just talks about how the rain should just wash the scum off the streets. But he is the very antithesis of that statement. He really is sort of a antisocial guy without any kind of morality, and you see that throughout the film where he'll say one thing and then do the complete opposite of that thing, and that's a very interesting point about his character. But he goes through New York, through all the boroughs, seeing all the negative behavior going in, and the underbellies of New York, and he just becomes more and more distant from the world, feels more and more disconnected from the world. And so he is driving by this presidential campaign office and sees a girl named Betsy, played by Sybil Shepherd, and he basically stalks her and kind of shows up and waits outside of her work a few times, and then one day he decides to go in, and he goes into her building, and he just basically says, "You look unhappy, and I can make you happy. Will you go out on a date with me?" And she kind of likes the straightforwardness of it, goes out with him, and then he takes her to a porno theater, and she is disgusted. She leaves in a hurry, and he calls her, and she's dodging his calls, and so that further spirals him into madness. And you see that he has a relationship with the 12-year-old prostitute that he's trying to rescue, and that he sees himself as a hero when he really is sort of a villain. And so this movie is kind of the thin line between hero and a villain, and the perspective of what really is the difference between a hero and a villain is kind of the perspective that you give the situation, because they can do the exact same thing, but you can see it in a different light depending on how the first person who sees the incident labels that incident as a heroic one or a villainous one. So I'm not going to get into much about the plot. That's kind of a basic overview because I think the ending is very interesting, and I don't want to ruin sort of the intimate details of the film. But I will say it is masterfully directed. The cinematography is beautiful. You have Bernard Herrmann's score. You have just a light, beautiful jazz that kind of permeates throughout the film, and sort of a repetitive notes at some points, a recurring theme of some notes. And you see how beautiful New York is. You see all the neon lights, and you see the rain on the asphalt, and it's very shimmery, and it's very, very beautiful. It's New York in the 70s and a time long gone, I think. And so basically I really love this movie. I love the opening shot where he's in the taxi cab, and you see his eyes real close up, and you see the neon lights, or just lights in general. There's red and yellow, different colors, flashing across his face, and he's very kind of still-faced, and then you just see the lights flashing across. I think it's a really cool shot. When I saw that a couple years ago, I was like, whoa, what is that? I've never seen that before. And that's really, I know this is probably not one of the best technical films of all time, but it is one of the best films of all time, and I think it really does give you a lot to marvel at. And so, is this a movie you should see before you die? I think so. I think it is one of the best films ever made, and I think it is rightfully in this book. So please check it out. I would give this film a A+. So, thank you for watching.